TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Jerusalem's national security advisor highlights that the international community increasingly understands that Iran is a global problem. The Israeli and U.S. Air Forces are currently conducting a joint exercise simulating long-range aerial strikes against Iranian targets. The Israeli Navy announces that it successfully completed an interception test of the long-range BARAK interceptor, which is yet another defensive layer of Israel's aerial defense array. At a time when Israel proactively prepares to contend with Iran's nuclear aspirations, Jerusalem's national security advisor, Dr. Eyal highlights that the defense establishment's separate organizations are divided on the manner of action.
יש דעות שונות בקרב הארגונים וגם בקרב מקבלי החלטות לגבי האופן הנכון לטפל בסוגיה האיראנית. אבל בסוף נדרשת קביעה של דירקטיבה של דרג מדיני בעניין הזה. אגב, צריך לומר, היא לא השתנתה מהותית בשנים האחרונות, שקובעת שישראל צריכה לעשות כל מה שנדרש כדי לוודא שלאיראן לא יהיה גרעין, לא תהיה יכולת גרעינית, ומהדבר הזה נגזרים שורה של דברים, חלקם צבאיים, רובם מדיניים, בתהליך ההתנהלות הזאת.
Dr. Khulata, who also heads Israel's National Security Council, continued by highlighting that Iran's multi-tier activities, spanning from its proactive aspirations to acquire nuclear weapon capabilities, alongside its robust ballistic missiles, unmanned aerial vehicles, and support of global terror programs, constitute the main security challenge facing Israel to date.
האתגר הביטחוני העיקרי שישראל עומדת מולו ממשיך להיות מרוכז על ידי איראן. הוא רב-ממדי בכל דרך, הגרעין ממשיך להיות הליבה שלו, הפעילות האזורית של איראן, גם על גבולותינו וגם בטרור הגלובלי ומשמעותי. בסוף השבוע האחרון הייתי בכנס בינלאומי בבחריין ודיברתי על הדבר הזה שם, ואחד הדברים שאני חושב שכולנו צריכים להיות ערים לו וגם במידה רבה להיעזר בדבר הזה לקראת העתיד, זה הופך להיות קונצנזוס בינלאומי, שאיראן היא לא בעיה שלנו. עומדת נשיאת הנציבות של האיחוד האירופי ומדברת על איראן כבעיה גלובלית, בגלל שיתוף הפעולה עם רוסיה, בכל מה שקשור למלחמה באוקראינה, אבל גם האירועים שקורים בפנים האיראני, זה ממשיך להיות נושא מאוד מרכזי. בהזדמנויות למול זה, זה ההשתלבות של ישראל במרחב.
The Israeli National Security Advisor went on to stress the significant benefits of Israel's integration in the region, which is rooted in the Abraham Accords. It is important to highlight that during the refer to IAF Manama conference in Bahrain, which included an Israeli security delegation headed by National Security Advisor Dr. Eyal, the Secretary General of the Gulf Cooperation Council, which represents the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom of Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Oman, Kuwait, and Qatar, highlighted two issues which these countries regard as vital to the overall security and stability of the region and beyond.
Two issues remains vital to the overall security and stability of the region and beyond. One, the Palestine-Israel long-standing conflict, which required the full implementation of the UN resolutions. The two-state solution based on the Arab Peace Initiative of 2002, supported and adopted by all GCC, the Arab League, and the OIC countries, is the way forward, with a recognized Palestine state in the June 1967 borders, with East Jerusalem as their capital. It is a time to put an end for 75 years of ongoing conflict.
The second issue naturally pertains to Iran's destabilizing activities throughout the region and beyond.
The Iranian nuclear deal, known as the JCPOA of 2015, in which we at the GCC demand that any new regional security architecture should take in consideration the interests of all in order to meet the desired stability in the region. It is extremely important that the Iranian behavior to destabilize the region, Iran nuclear program, Iran ballistic missiles, and Iran supports to Houthis and other militias around the region. Vienna talks should not be limited to the JCPOA, but should address all of the above.
The GCC Secretary General went on to quote the concluding remarks from the keynote address by EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, a speech that brought about broad deliberations by political and defense leaders of all regional actors.
My last point is about the international order and how to defend it. There is one recent development that I find very telling. Last January, exactly 1 month before Russia attacked Ukraine, civilians in Abu Dhabi came under fire of Iran-made Shahed 136 UAVs launched from Yemen. Just a few days ago, the oil tanker Pacific Zircon was attacked off the coast of Oman by the very same Iranian drones. And now in Europe too, Russia has launched these very same Iranian drones time and again against civilian targets in Ukraine's cities. These are blatant breaches of humanitarian law and qualify as war crimes.
The EU Commission President continued by confessing that the West in general, and the European Union in particular, failed to address cited warnings by several Gulf nations vis-à-vis the Islamic Republic of Iran's destabilizing nature.
Several Gulf countries have been warning for years about the risk that Iran feeds rogue nations around the world with drones. It took us too long to understand a very simple fact. The very simple fact that while we work to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons, we must also focus on other forms of weapons proliferations from drones to ballistic missiles. It is a security risk not just for the Middle East, but for all of us. And this is why the European Union has already sanctioned Iranian individuals and entities linked to the Iranian Revolutionary Guards that are responsible for providing drones to Russia. And we are coordinating with partners and allies to take further sanctions against Iran, responding to the proliferation of Iranian drones.
President von der Leyen concluded her address by stressing the need for a stronger security architecture against the spread of chaos which emanates from Tehran and elsewhere.
The world needs a stronger security architecture against this spread of chaos. We know this in Europe, and it matters also here in the Gulf. Europe is willing to do its part. We want to strengthen our engagement with the region, both economically, but also in terms of security. We want closer cooperation on maritime security, for instance, to ensure safe shipping lanes. And I am also convinced that we should work on a coordinated approach to Iran with a broader focus than nuclear.
Well, time will tell whether the European Union follows through with practical measures to the remarks of President von der Leyen. Regional actors, including most notably Israel, are preparing for the worst. Among others, Israel and the United States are currently conducting a major aerial exercise, as part of which both air forces are jointly simulating long-range bombardments. Nevertheless, despite the sensitive timing of the aerial drill, the U.S. insists that the ongoing maneuver constitutes a long-planned exercise.
So this is a long-planned exercise with the United States and Israel. and they are exercising fighter escort and aerial refueling. And so CENTCOM can give you more details on that. But again, this is a long-planned exercise, and it's also not something that's unusual. We exercise with Israel and other countries in the region on a regular basis.
Alongside preparations for a kinetic solution, Israel is also working tirelessly to bolster its defenses. As part of these efforts, the IDF announced this morning that its Navy, alongside Israel Aerospace Industries and the Israeli Defense Ministry, successfully completed an interception test of the long-range BARAK interceptor, which is part of the defensive layer of the Israeli Navy's Sal-6 class corvette. During the test, which was the first of its kind to be conducted at sea, the BARAK system successfully completed detection and interception processes in a challenging scenario against a target that simulated an advanced cruise missile, which is frequently utilized by the Islamic Republic of Iran.
המערכת תהווה נדבך משמעותי נוסף בשכבת ההגנה הרב-שכבתית של ספינות הטילים של זרוע הים, ובהשתתפותה בהכרעה צה"לית כנגד מגוון תרחישים ואיומים מהים ומהחוף.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to express our appreciation for TV7 Israel's family of supporters. TV7 Israel is a donation-based ministry. Therefore, your financial contributions essentially enable us to sustain our ongoing operations here in Jerusalem. Additionally, I would like to encourage you, pray for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, and for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Essen wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you again tomorrow at the same time.